2026 is around the corner and the market's direction is all up in the air, and it makes you wonder if we're going to see a big pullback or will it pick up again. Though before we get into that topic, I actually am gifting a subscriber this Scissor illustration rare. Now if I do reply to your comment with this Celebi emoji, then this card is coming your way. But in terms of 2026, okay, it looks like we have a new set releasing on January 30th, which is Ascended Heroes. Now this will be our English specialty set, and these are very common during this time period. I mean, think of Crown Zenith in 2023, or Paldean Fates for 2024, and Prismatic Evolutions in 2025. They all released around the same period of early January. And in all honesty, if it's like any of those sets that I just mentioned, then it's likely it will be pretty hyped and, you know, it will be high quality as well. And honestly, early specialty sets are my personal favorite releases because, you know, I've noticed, and like from previous sets, they usually deliver in quality. But, you know, looking at Ascended Heroes, we do have Mega Dragonite, which is on the box art, okay, for the ETB. Now, I've seen already people speaking that they don't like the design. I actually personally love it. I think it looks great, but, you know, I think people are also not that happy with the direction of Mega Dragonite itself, you know, because you know, after years of waiting for, you know, everyone expected Mega Dragonite to be this ferocious beast, you know, this is what we got. But right now, it's, you know, very much confirmed that there will be a Mega Dragonite special illustration rare, and the set will also feature the new Mega Gengar from Dan Chow, which is a really cool artwork, man. This is from the same illustrator of the Zekrom special illustration rare and the recent Charizard SIR, and I could definitely see a fan base growing for Dan Chow as well because, you know, how good and how high of the quality they've been delivering recently. Plus, we will be getting the Mega Gardevoir and Mega Lucario cards, which were revealed a long time ago. Like I said, the box art design, as a lot of people have gone a little bit weird about it, you know, the colors, you know, how out there it is. I kind of do feel, and this is the thing about Ascended Heroes right now, the box design and, you know, these colors and all that, it kind of does fit Mega Dragonite because I don't mind it, but I mean, like I said, man, the whole time we were expecting like Dragonite, you know, Mega Dragonite to be this beast, man. This, you know, the fan art of Mega Dragonite that people were showing over the years was like crazy stuff, dude. Like people were like so pumped. And of course, the design of Mega Dragonite has left, you know, a lot of fans a little bit disappointed. And I think that kind of plays out with the box art and is the, you know, the general theme of this set. I think one of the things with Mega Dragonite and the Mega Evolutions, what I've noticed, so Mega Evolution, if we look at the XY era and, you know, Omega Ruby, you know, Alpha Sapphire, when those Mega Evolutions were coming out, real interesting and kind of strong characteristics about those Mega Evolutions. They were, you know, quite ferocious in their design. They felt like a big buff up. They felt like Mega Evolutions felt like a massive kind of step up. When we look at Legends EA and the Mega Evolutions we've delivered, you know, whether it's Mega Victory Bell, whether it's, you know, Dragonite, like I mentioned, a lot of the Mega Evolution designs with Legends EA, you know, they're kind of clumsy. They're kind of like cheeky, a little bit funny. They're more round shaped as well. So they've kind of taken what people expected from Mega Evolutions, which was that, you know, which is that kind of like, you know, strong attacking kind of Pokemon design. They've gone with these kind of cheeky designs as well. So that also has had a bit of a part to play with, you know, how I think people will respond to this Mega Evolution era, especially with the new Mega cards that are coming out. And by the way, if you are looking to purchase Ascended Heroes, you can actually stay up to date when it releases with PokeNotify, who are the sponsors of today's video. Now, PokeNotify is a paid Discord service that alerts you the moment a specific Pokemon product or pre-order goes live. For example, with Ascended Heroes, you can use PokeNotify to get alerts when the set is restock or when it's released for pre-orders, and not just with new releases, but also older products are constantly popping in and out of stock as well, so this helps you stay ahead. With PokeNotify, you'll actually get the heads up the second something becomes available to order. Now, to get the most out of the server, it's a good idea to set up your notification preferences properly. This way, you'll only get alerts for the products you actually care about. I mean, with so many new sets dropping within 2026, it becomes a very useful tool to have. Now, what's cool, if you do just want to give it a try, there is a 3-day free trial available. You can also use my code to get 25% off your first month. A big thanks to PokeNotify for sponsoring the video. Now let's jump back into the video. Now, in terms of the ETB promo and Zekrom, really cool promo here. You know, we've got the Ends Reshiram from Journey Together. That was the enhanced box topper version, and this comes in the ETB promo. I do imagine the Pokemon Center stamped version, like always, will be quite desired, but really cool artwork. You know, the Ends Reshiram and Ends Zekrom, really, really cool cards. And they are, even though they're a little bit different in eras, one's from Scarlet and Violet, one's from this new Mega Evolution era, really, really cool. And I do imagine that there will be, a fair bit of a market for this card in particular. And that's already putting Ascended Heroes in a pretty cool position. Now, one thing about these like tech sticker collections, okay? I did see the Charizard Y, the Mega Charizard Y. A lot of people have been wondering, hey, when is Mega Charizard Y going to get some representation? Well, there it is on the tech sticker collection. Whether or not we're going to get a Mega Charizard Y special illustration rare in this era, I do believe we will eventually, but that will be hyped because I actually prefer Y over X, which is, I don't know if that's I just always have. I kind of feel like Mega Charizard X always felt like a shiny version. Mega Charizard Y definitely feels more like how Mega Evolutions were meant to be. That kind of felt like a complete kind of, it kind of feels like a regional variant more than a Mega Evolution. And of course, the booster bundles as well. As you can see on the booster bundle, a lot of cool Pokemon featured on this. And, as a specialty set, just seeing that and, the roster of Pokemon on the booster bundle is looking pretty cool. You got the Mega Dragonite, you've got Mega Lucario, Mega Charizard Y, Ho, Mewtwo, and of course, then you have a terrestrialized Pikachu as well, which is interesting, okay? Because we're in this new, I kind of get confused with the TCG because it kind of crosses over so much in terms of Terrestrialize isn't available in Pokemon Legends EA. So it's interesting that, is this Mega Evolution era meant to be following Legends EA, or are they just kind of crossing everything in every direction? It's very, very weird to see it because, in the TCG, it just kind of crosses over. And it doesn't kind of make sense in terms of that segmentation of the generations or, this Mega Evolution. A lot of people are kind of saying, is this then Scarlet and Violet? Because that's kind of weird to see, right? Because Terrestrialize is so heavily drawn from Scarlet and Violet. I don't think we've ever had a Gigantamax card, in Scarlet and Violet era, right? That was for Generation 8. So that is kind of weird or kind of interesting to see as well. But, in saying that, I do think Ascended Heroes will be interesting. I do think the Mega Gengar so far is looking really cool. I personally really like that artwork. And like I said, I think Dan Chow has really been performing lately as an illustrator and really growing artistically. And obviously they're building a lot more confidence with, the artworks that they've been kind of delivering lately. In terms of previous specialty sets, this is where it gets interesting, right? We have Crown Zenith here. Now, Crown Zenith over the last year, as you can see on that snapshot, has been growing. So this was our specialty set, like Ascended Heroes, for January of 2023, okay? Now, it was selling for around $69, easy there, Tigers, around $69 in December of last year, okay? And of course, Crown Zenith's growth has been massive. Right now, selling for $200 US. Now, there has been a very small dip from, $224 to $200, but in terms of the growth that it's had, it's been exceptional growth, right? I mean, it's really grown over the last few years, and I think Crown Zenith as a specialty set, when we look at it, such cool artworks. And this is what I mean when I was talking about specialty sets. When we just look at Crown Zenith, right? I mean, you had the Crown Zenith Gold Star cards, or I call them Gold Star cards, but the gold kind of artworked cards, that like the V-Star Gold cards, sorry. They're all illustrated by Akira Igawa. They are really, really awesome. They look fantastic, okay? When we're looking at the Mega Dragonite, this Ascended Heroes, we can kind of expect going on these, like maybe we are going to be, prepared for some real high quality sets. Same thing with Paldean Fates. Now, interestingly, just check Paldean Fates here, okay? Was selling for $223, went all the way up to $296. This is in the last 3 months. Right now, selling for $229. Massive drop off there. Interesting to see that. But, with Paldean Fates, in terms of this set, now, I do think Crown Zenith is far better than Paldean Fates. Paldean Fates has the Bubble Mew, okay? And it does have the special illustration rares. You got the Iono, you've got the Charizard, you've got the Bubble Mew, and of course, you also have the Gardevoir. Now, the Gardevoir is awesome. I like all the special illustration rares, but in terms of the quality of this set, I think it's very much, Bubble Mew focused. But in terms of Crown Zenith, I feel there was so much kind of cool things to pull from that set. And personally, I prefer Crown Zenith over Paldean Fates for specialty sets. Then the most recent specialty set we've had was Prismatic Evolutions, which released in the same time period in January of 2025. And I mean, this set doesn't really need no introduction if you're new to the hobby, because I think this is where a lot of people actually got drawn into the hobby, where they saw Prismatic Evolutions, brought so many people in. Prices for this have been climbing, selling for $98 US, right now selling for around $128, $130 US. And Prismatic Evolutions was definitely a step up in quality from Paldean Fates. In terms of Prismatic Prismatic Evolutions versus Crown Zenith. I wouldn't really, if someone said that they prefer Crown Zenith over Prismatic Evolutions, I reckon that's a normal take. I wouldn't say that's a hot take in any way. I actually think I probably do prefer Crown Zenith over Prismatic Evolutions. But, the special illustration rares from Prismatic were really awesome, whether it be Iron Hands, whether it be, the Umbreon, all the evolutions, they look fantastic. And of course, when we're looking at all these specialty sets, and then when we're kind of projecting Ascended Heroes and how it's going to be, I mean, out of all those sets that I've mentioned, just in the last 3 years, they've all really delivered. So, I highly kind of anticipate that Ascended Heroes will follow that same pathway of being a really cool kind of introduction. I feel like with these specialty sets, they really set up the year and they really kind of put it on the right trajectory. I mean, Prismatic Evolutions kind of made Pokemon cards just boom so much in popularity, and it's kind of the reason why they're so popular today. And it kind of pulled in so many fans. So, I'm very interested to know what your thoughts are on Ascended Heroes. But in terms of what you're thinking about the box art, the Mega Gengar, the general direction, and, even Mega Evolutions, what you're feeling with that, I really want to know, because for me personally, I'm thinking that this new Mega Evolution era is in very unique time to be involved in the hobby for that reason, that it all feels like we're just kind of learning this new era. And one of the things that I have said, and I've kind of said it a little bit throughout my videos, but was, Pokemon Legends EA, is that enough to hold the TCG with this whole new Mega Evolution era that we're in? Is that enough? And is there enough interest to hold it until Generation 10? That is a big topic of discussion at the moment. And as I said, specialty sets usually deliver, so I'm very excited. Though in saying that, if you actually asked me the other day and they said, hey Phil, if you had $1,000, what would you actually buy with that? And then that actually got me thinking. So I actually made a whole video because of that comment, and you can actually see all that within this video on screen right here. Within that video, I'll show you how I spend $1,000 on Pokemon cards. If you enjoyed this video, click the video that's currently appearing on screen. I'll see you on the next video, and I appreciate you watching.